Thunder from beyond. The Galactic Alliance patrol ship Vigilant Dawn drifted silently through the outer reaches of the Orion Arm, its sleek silver hull barely visible against the backdrop of distant stars. Captain Xeris stood on the bridge, her translucent blue skin shimmering under the soft console lights as she gazed out at the vastness of space. "Status report," she said, her four eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of mild irritation. These border patrols were necessary but tedious. "All systems nominal, Captain," responded First Officer Trell, his reptilian features bent over the sensor display. "We'll complete our sweep of the Epsilon sector in approximately 6 hours." The Vigilant Dawn was one of the most advanced vessels in the Alliance fleet, representing the pinnacle of technology developed by the 12 species that had formed the Galactic Alliance 3 centuries ago. Their combined territory spanned 4 spiral arms, and in all that time, they had encountered no other spacefaring civilizations of comparable development. That was about to change. "Captain," called Sensor Officer Vex, her antenna straightening suddenly. "I'm detecting an anomaly at coordinates 349 Mark 72. Xeris moved swiftly to the sensor station. "Classification: unknown, Captain. It's like nothing in our database. Energy signature is massive and growing." The main view screen shifted to show a patch of seemingly empty space, but the sensor overlay revealed a swirling distortion forming, like reality itself was being bent. "Subspace rupture," announced Science Officer Krell, his 6-fingered hands flying across his console. "Something's coming through." "Battle stations," Xeris ordered calmly. "Alert the escort vessels to maintain formation. Shields up." The Vigilant Dawn and its 2 escort ships held position as the distortion grew larger. The bridge fell silent as officers prepared for first contact protocols, or combat, if necessary. "Object emerging," Vex announced, her voice wavering slightly. What materialized before them silenced every beam on the bridge. A massive vessel, easily 3 times the size of the Vigilant Dawn, appeared through the rupture. Its hull was dark gray with angular sections and unmistakable weapon emplacements along its surface. The design followed no known Alliance architectural principles, with harsh straight lines and sharp angles where Alliance ships favored curves and organic shapes. "By the void," whispered Trell. "It's a warship." Xeris regained her composure first. "Dimensions: length approximately 1.8 kilometers, reported Krell, his voice barely audible. "Mass: our sensors can barely calculate it. Power output exceeds anything in our database. Life signs: thousands, Captain. But they're not matching any known species patterns." Xeris straightened her uniform. "Open communications, standard diplomatic frequencies." Communications Officer Lan nodded, her feathered crest rising with tension as she initiated contact protocols. "Broadcasting Alliance standard greetings on all frequencies, Captain." Minutes passed in tense silence as the enormous ship maintained its position, neither advancing nor retreating. "They're responding," Lan announced finally. "Audio and visual." "On screen," ordered Xeris. The view screen flickered, and the bridge crew collectively gasped. The being that appeared was unlike any Alliance species. It had a flat face with a protruding nose, 2 eyes, just 2, and a covering of short dark fur on the top of its head. Its skin was a pinkish-brown color, without scales, feathers, or chitin. "This is Captain Elena Shepard of the Terran Federation vessel Defiance." The creature spoke in a clear, confident voice. "We are responding to distress signals from our deep space probes in this sector." Xeris stepped forward, maintaining her diplomatic poise despite her shock. "I am Captain Xeris of the Galactic Alliance patrol vessel Vigilant Dawn. We have no record of any Terrans in Alliance space. Identify your species' origin and state your intentions." Captain Shepard's expression remained composed. "We are humans from Earth. Our exploration vessels reached this sector approximately 1 standard year ago. We've lost contact with several probes following anomalous energy readings. We're here to investigate." The bridge crew exchanged bewildered glances. Science Officer Krell quickly accessed the database and whispered to Xeris, "Captain, there's no record of any species called humans in our archives. No record of an Earth either." Xeris frowned. The Alliance records were comprehensive, spanning thousands of years of exploration. For an entire spacefaring species to exist without their knowledge was deeply troubling. "Captain Shepard," Xeris said carefully, "our records show no human settlements or probes in this region. This sector is under Alliance protection and monitoring. Your presence here is unexpected." Something like amusement flickered across Shepard's face. "Captain Xeris, we don't expect you to have records of us. We've been careful to maintain our anonymity until now. Earth is located in what you would consider unclaimed space, beyond the Perseus Arm. We've developed our technology independently." Before Xeris could respond, alarm signals blared across both ships. "Captain," called out Vex. "Multiple vessels decloaking at coordinates 115 Mark 82. The view screen split to show 5 predatory-looking ships appearing seemingly from nowhere, their hulls covered in jagged protrusions. Their design was nothing like the Alliance or the human vessel. "Morax raiders," Xeris growled. "They've been attacking outposts along this sector for the past cycle." On her side of the screen, Captain Shepard was receiving reports from her crew. "Captain Xeris, these match the energy signatures detected before our probes went silent." The raider ships accelerated toward the Alliance patrol vessels, weapon systems powering up. "Evasive maneuvers," ordered Xeris. "Prepare to engage." "Captain Xeris," Shepard's voice cut through the chaos. "The Defiance stands ready to assist. These raiders appear to be our common enemy." Xeris hesitated only briefly. "Coordinate with my tactical officer." What happened next would forever change the Alliance's understanding of warfare. The massive human battleship moved with impossible speed for its size, positioning itself between the raiders and the Alliance vessels. Weapon ports that had seemed merely decorative suddenly illuminated with fierce energy. The raiders fired first, energy beams lancing toward the patrol ships. Before they could connect, the Defiance deployed some kind of energy barrier that Xeris had never seen before. Not a standard shield, but a directional energy absorber that captured the incoming fire completely. Then the human ship responded. Streams of accelerated particles erupted from its hull, each finding its mark with precision that left the Alliance crew speechless. The Defiance didn't just fire. It calculated exact structural weaknesses in the raider vessels and targeted them specifically. 3 raiders veered off, trailing plasma from multiple precision hits, while 2 exploded in brilliant flashes of light. "Point defense systems engaging," reported the human tactical officer over the still-open channel, as if this display of overwhelming force was routine. Smaller defensive weapons on the human ship activated, intercepting incoming missiles from the remaining raiders with perfect accuracy. Not a single projectile made it through their defensive screen. The entire engagement lasted less than 2 minutes. When it ended, 3 raider ships had retreated into hyperspace, and 2 were nothing but expanding debris fields. The Defiance showed no signs of damage. Captain Xeris stood in stunned silence, along with her entire bridge crew. In 3 centuries of Alliance military history, no engagement of this scale had been resolved so quickly or decisively. "Captain Xeris," Shepard's voice broke the silence. "Are your vessels damaged?" Xeris found her voice. "Negative, Captain Shepard. We are unharmed." "Good. Perhaps now we can discuss the raider presence in this sector more thoroughly. With your permission, I'd like to send a diplomatic team to continue our conversation." Xeris looked at her first officer, who nodded slowly, still processing what they had witnessed. "Permission granted, Captain Shepard. We welcome your delegation aboard the Vigilant Dawn." As preparations began for the first official meeting between humans and the Galactic Alliance, Xeris couldn't help but feel that the balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted dramatically. Whatever these humans were, wherever they had come from, one thing was clear. They were a force unlike anything the Alliance had ever encountered. And from the calculated precision of their actions, Xeris suspected that this first contact was no accident at all. The diplomatic chamber aboard the Vigilant Dawn buzzed with tension as Captain Xeris awaited the human delegation. Her superiors at Alliance Command had been notified, and the initial response had been a mixture of disbelief and concern. An unknown species with military technology that surpassed Alliance capabilities had suddenly appeared on their borders. The strategic implications were enormous. The chamber doors slid open, and 3 humans entered. Captain Shepard led the group, flanked by 2 officers in what appeared to be formal uniforms. Xeris was struck again by how similar they looked to each other, yet now that she saw them side by side, she could observe subtle differences in their features, coloring, and stature. Captain Shepard, Xeris greeted, performing the formal Alliance welcome gesture. "These are my senior officers, First Officer Trell and Science Officer Krell." Shepard nodded respectfully. "Captain Xeris, allow me to introduce Commander Jackson, my executive officer, and Dr. Patel, our chief scientific advisor." The humans took seats across from the Alliance representatives at the circular table. For a moment, silence lingered as both parties studied each other. "I believe we owe you an explanation," Shepard began. "Humanity has been aware of the Galactic Alliance for approximately 20 standard years. We detected your communication signals and translated them long before you knew we existed." Krell's 6 eyes blinked rapidly in surprise. "But our communications are encrypted with quantum algorithms. How could you possibly?" Dr. Patel, a smaller human with darker skin than Shepard, smiled slightly. "Your encryption is impressive, but it follows mathematical principles we studied for centuries. Different path, similar destination. Why remain hidden?" asked Xeris directly. "The Alliance welcomes peaceful contact with new species." Shepard exchanged glances with her officers before answering. "Earth's history is filled with cautionary tales about first contact scenarios. We wanted to understand the political landscape before revealing ourselves. The Alliance is vast, with 12 member species and numerous client states. We needed to be certain of our position." "And now," pressed Trell, his reptilian features sharpening with suspicion. "The Raiders changed our timeline," Shepard replied. "They've been attacking both Alliance outposts and our probes. We tracked them to this sector and decided direct intervention was necessary." Xeris leaned forward. "The technology your ship displayed exceeds anything in Alliance records. Your weapons, your defensive systems, even your propulsion methods appear advanced beyond our current understanding." Commander Jackson, a broad-shouldered human with pale skin, spoke for the first time. "Necessity drives innovation, Captain. Earth was isolated during our development. We faced challenges that forced rapid technological evolution." "What Commander Jackson means," Shepard clarified, "is that humans had to overcome significant obstacles without outside assistance. It shaped our approach to technology and problem-solving." Science Officer Krell couldn't contain his curiosity. "Your ship's energy signature, it doesn't match known power generation methods. How do you?" Dr. Patel interrupted gently. "Zero-point energy extraction, combined with matter-antimatter reactions. We call it the Hawking drive." The Alliance officers exchanged startled glances. The theoretical principles behind such technology had been debated in Alliance scientific circles for decades, but practical implementation had been considered centuries away. "I understand your concerns," Shepard continued. "A previously unknown species with advanced military capabilities appearing at your borders would concern us too. But I hope our actions against the Raiders demonstrate our intentions." "Which are?" Xeris asked pointedly. "Peaceful coexistence, scientific exchange, and mutual defense," Shepard replied without hesitation. "The Raiders are a symptom of a larger problem. Our intelligence suggests they're proxies for something else, something that threatens both human space and the Alliance." Shepard nodded to Dr. Patel, who activated a holographic display showing star charts and energy readings. "We've been tracking unusual subspace disruptions originating from this region," Patel explained, highlighting an area beyond Alliance space. The patterns suggest artificial manipulation of space-time on a massive scale. Krell studied the data, his scientific curiosity overtaking his caution. This would require technology even more advanced than what you've demonstrated. Precisely, agreed Patel. And whoever controls it has been sending raiders to test both our defenses and yours. We believe they're mapping response patterns, identifying weaknesses. Xeris felt a chill run through her translucent skin. You're suggesting we're both being targeted by an unknown third party. That's our working theory, Shepard confirmed. And now, they know humans and the Alliance have made contact. Their strategy will adapt accordingly. This information must be brought before the Alliance Council immediately, Xeris decided. Captain Shepard, would you be willing to present your findings directly? Seeing humans in person will emphasize the gravity of the situation. Shepard smiled, a gesture that Xeris was beginning to recognize as an indication of agreement among humans. The Defiance is at your disposal, Captain. Lead the way. As the meeting concluded and arrangements were made for the journey to Alliance headquarters, Xeris knew she was witnessing a pivotal moment in galactic history. The arrival of humans had changed everything. Whether that change would bring prosperity or chaos remained to be seen, but one thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same again. And somewhere beyond known space, something was watching, calculating, adapting its plans to this unexpected development. The alliance of two civilizations that were never supposed to meet. Paradigm shift. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Alliance headquarters on Axis Prime hummed with anxious voices. Representatives from all 12 member species had assembled for an emergency session, their diverse physiologies creating a living tapestry of galactic biodiversity. Some floated in specialized gravity fields, others were submerged in temperature-regulated liquid environments, while many sat in conventional seats adapted to their unique anatomies. High Chancellor Vorn, an ancient being with crystalline skin that had recorded over 4 centuries of memory, called the chamber to order. His resonant voice echoed through the vast, circular space. Representatives of the Alliance, we face an unprecedented situation. An unknown species with advanced technology has appeared at our borders. Holographic displays activated, showing footage of the human battleship Defiance engaging the raiders. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the assembly as they witnessed the vessel's overwhelming firepower and defensive capabilities. The species calls themselves humans, continued Vorn. Their representatives are waiting to address this council. Before we receive them, I open the floor for initial responses. Representative Call of the Sentinel Collective rose first, his insectoid features clicking with agitation. This vessel represents a clear military threat to Alliance security. Its capabilities exceed our most advanced battleships. We must respond with caution and strength. Murmurs of agreement followed his statement. Ambassador Talia of the Elysian Concord stood next, her gossamer wings shimmering under the chamber lights. Let us not rush to judgment. These humans assisted our patrol vessels against known raiders. Their actions speak of potential alliance, not aggression. The debate intensified, with various representatives expressing concerns about human intentions, theories about their sudden appearance, and speculation about their technological development. Finally, Chancellor Vorn raised his crystalline hand for silence. We will now receive the human delegation. Whatever we decide, our response must be unified and measured. The chamber doors opened, and Captain Alina Shepard entered alongside Commander Jackson and Dr. Patel. They walked confidently to the center of the chamber, seemingly unfazed by the diversity of alien life forms scrutinizing them. Honored representatives of the Galactic Alliance, Shepard began, her voice clear and steady. I am Captain Alina Shepard of the Terran Federation. We come in peace and with respect for your civilization. Your sudden appearance and obvious military capabilities raise concerns, Chancellor Vorn stated directly. Why reveal yourselves now, and what are your intentions toward the Alliance? Shepard nodded, acknowledging the question's validity. Humanity has evolved in isolation, unaware of the Galactic Alliance until relatively recently. When we detected your communication networks approximately 20 years ago, we made a careful decision to observe before initiating contact. 20 years, exclaimed Representative Call. You've been spying on Alliance activities for 2 decades. Learning, corrected Dr. Patel. Understanding your cultures, languages, and political structures. First contact between civilizations is fraught with potential misunderstandings. We wanted to minimize those risks. And your technological capabilities. Pressed Chancellor Vorn. The engagement with the raiders demonstrated weaponry and defenses beyond Alliance standards. Commander Jackson stepped forward. Earth's isolation forced us to develop along different technological paths. Our history is marked by rapid adaptation and innovation born of necessity. The Defiance represents our current capabilities, but we didn't develop these technologies to threaten the Alliance. Shepard activated a holographic display showing data similar to what they had shared with Captain Zirus. We're here because we've detected a common threat. The raiders attacking both human and Alliance outposts are connected to a larger power, one that appears to be testing our defensive capabilities systematically. Dr. Patel expanded the display to show complex energy patterns. These subspace disruptions originate from a region beyond both human and Alliance space. The patterns suggest artificial manipulation at scales that exceed even our most advanced technologies. Science Counselor Lyrax of the Mnemonic Collective floated forward in her gravity field. These readings are consistent with theoretical models of dimensional manipulation. If artificial, it would indeed require civilization advancement beyond current Alliance capabilities. We believe, continued Shepard, that whoever is responsible has been manipulating the raiders to probe both our civilizations, perhaps in preparation for something larger. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. What do you propose, Captain Shepard? Asked Chancellor Vorn finally. A joint investigative mission to the source of these disruptions, Shepard replied without hesitation. The Defiance is equipped with advanced sensor technology specifically designed to analyze these phenomena. We're prepared to share this technology with Alliance vessels. Representative Call chittered skeptically. And in exchange, what does humanity want from the Alliance? Shepard met the insectoid's compound eyes directly. The beginning of diplomatic relations, recognition of human sovereignty over our claimed systems, and eventually, perhaps, the possibility of humanity joining the Alliance as equals. The chamber erupted in voices, some protesting, others curious or supportive. Chancellor Vorn allowed the discussion to continue for several minutes before restoring order. This council will need time to deliberate, he informed the human delegation. Until then, we extend diplomatic courtesy to your vessel and crew. Captain Zirus will continue as your liaison. As the humans were escorted from the chamber, the real debate began in earnest. A debate that would determine the future relationship between humanity and the Galactic Alliance. Aboard the Defiance, Captain Shepard stood in the ship's strategic command center, studying real-time data streams from the Alliance headquarters. The massive display showed everything from communication patterns to energy usage spikes, all carefully analyzed by the ship's AI systems to provide insight into the ongoing council deliberations. They're divided, noted Commander Jackson, studying the patterns. The military factions are pushing for caution, while the scientific and diplomatic groups are advocating for cooperation. As expected, Shepard replied. Their society values consensus, but this situation falls outside their standard protocols. Dr. Patel joined them, reviewing data on her personal display. Our sensors have continued monitoring the subspace disruptions. They're increasing in frequency and intensity. Whatever's happening out there, it's accelerating. The command center doors slid open as Captain Zirus was escorted in by security personnel. The Alliance captain's 4 eyes widened as she took in the advanced monitoring systems and holographic displays filling the space. Captain Shepard, she greeted formally, trying to mask her surprise. The Council has reached a preliminary decision. Shepard gestured to a conference area where they could speak privately. I hope it's favorable. Our latest readings suggest we may have less time than initially calculated. Once seated, Xeris composed herself. The Council has authorized a joint investigative mission to the source of the disruptions. 3 Alliance vessels will accompany the Defiance. Good, Shepard responded. When can they be ready? Within 2 standard cycles. The Vigilant Dawn will leave the Alliance contingent, along with the science vessel Quantum Seeker and the heavy cruiser Stellaris. Jackson raised an eyebrow. The Stellaris. That's your most advanced military vessel, isn't it? Xeris's translucent skin flushed slightly, indicating surprise at the human's knowledge of Alliance fleet composition. Yes, the Council feels it prudent to send our best. A wise precaution, agreed Shepard. We're prepared to share our sensor technology with your vessels, particularly the Quantum Seeker. Its research capabilities will complement our own. There is one additional condition, Xeris added hesitantly. The Council requests that an Alliance observation team remain aboard the Defiance during the mission. Jackson tensed slightly, but Shepard nodded without hesitation. Accepted with reciprocal arrangement. We'll send observers to your vessels as well. Of course, Xeris agreed, perhaps too quickly. The diplomatic dance of trust and verification was universal, it seemed. Captain Xeris, Shepard said, her tone shifting to something more serious. There's something you should see before we depart. Shepard led Xeris and her officers to a secured section of the command center where a holographic simulation was running. It showed the progression of subspace disruptions over time, their pattern expanding toward both Alliance and human space. Our predictive models suggest these aren't random phenomena, explained Dr. Pottle. They're systematic, like a fishing net being drawn tighter around specific regions of space, including Earth and Axis Prime, noted Xeris, her voice hushed as she recognized the pattern. Precisely, confirmed Shepard. Whatever is causing these disruptions has targeted the political and cultural centers of both our civilizations. This isn't coincidence, it's strategy. Xeris studied the simulation. The Council needs to see this immediately. Agreed. But there's something else. Shepard nodded to Pottle, who adjusted the simulation to show a time-accelerated prediction. If the pattern continues at current rates of acceleration, Pottle explained, we estimate approximately 14 standard days before the disruptions reach critical density in these regions. The simulation highlighted several sectors on the borders of both Alliance and human space. Critical density, questioned Xeris. The point at which normal space becomes unnavigable, clarified Patel. Ships entering these regions would be torn apart by subspace shear forces. You're suggesting we could be cut off from each other, Xeris realized. Divided and isolated, and potentially vulnerable to whatever comes next, added Shepard. The raiders were just the first phase. We need to move quickly. Xeris's diplomatic composure faltered momentarily. 2 cycles may be too long to wait. I'll advise the Council that we need to depart within 1 cycle. We'll be ready, Shepard assured her. After Xeris departed to report to the Council, Commander Jackson turned to Shepard. You didn't show her everything. No, Shepard acknowledged. The quantum signature analysis is still too speculative. Let's confirm our theories before we share them. And if we're right? Asked Patel quietly. Shepard's expression darkened. Then both humanity and the Alliance are facing something we've only theorized about. And we'll need each other more than either side realizes. The joint expedition departed from Axis Prime ahead of schedule, just 18 hours after the Council's authorization. The Defiance led the formation, its massive hull dwarfing even the Alliance heavy cruiser Stellaris. Behind them came the Vigilant Dawn and the research vessel Quantum Seeker, both equipped with modified sensor arrays based on human technology. Aboard the Defiance, the command deck hummed with activity as human officers worked alongside their Alliance counterparts. The integration had been surprisingly smooth, with both sides showing professional curiosity about the other's methods and technologies. Approaching the outer boundary of the disruption field, announced Navigation Officer Chen. Transition to subspace in 30 seconds. Captain Shepard stood at the center of the bridge, Captain Xeris beside her as an official observer. All vessels maintain formation through the transition. The disruption field may affect standard communication channels. Switch to quantum entanglement comms on my mark. The Alliance officers exchanged glances at the mention of quantum entanglement, a technology they had theorized, but never successfully implemented. Mark, ordered Shepard. Quantum comms active. The Defiance led the formation into subspace, its advanced drive creating a stable bubble that the Alliance vessels followed closely. The view screen shifted to show the strange topology of subspace, rippling energy patterns in blues and purples that normally flowed in predictable currents. Except these weren't predictable at all. Subspace distortion increasing, reported Science Officer Vreelich, an Alliance officer working at a human console. Patterns match predicted models, but intensity is significantly higher than anticipated. Dr. Patel monitored the readings from her station. The disruptions are organized, almost like a lattice structure. No natural phenomenon creates patterns this regular. Distance to source? Asked Shepard. Approximately 12 light minutes, responded Chen. But the distortion is affecting sensor accuracy. Shepard turned to Xeris. Your assessment, Captain. The Alliance officer studied the sensor displays with all four eyes. This exceeds anything in Alliance records. The energy requirements to manipulate subspace at this scale would be astronomical. Quantum Seeker is reporting unusual particle readings, announced Communications Officer Torres. They're detecting what appears to be artificial construction ahead. On screen, ordered Shepard. The main view screen shifted to show a distant structure barely visible through the subspace distortions. It appeared to be a massive array of interconnected platforms arranged in a spherical formation, each platform generating energy beams that converged at the center. Magnification, Shepard commanded. As the image zoomed in, details became clearer. The platforms weren't uniform in design. They displayed a mixture of technological styles and construction methods. Some of those components match Morak's Raider design, observed Xeris, leaning forward. But others match Alliance technology, finished Commander Jackson grimly, and some appear to incorporate human design elements. A chill silence fell over the bridge. They've been studying us, Dr. Patel said quietly. Both civilizations, analyzing our technology, adapting it, incorporating it. Threat assessment. Shepard asked her tactical officer. Unknown, Captain, but the energy output from that structure exceeds the combined output of all vessels in this expedition by several orders of magnitude. Stellaris is requesting permission to arm weapons systems, reported Torres. Shepard exchanged glances with Xeris. Denied. We maintain observer status only. No aggressive actions. Approaching optimal sensor range, announced Chen. 5 minutes to designated scanning position. Shepard addressed the bridge crew. This is a reconnaissance mission. We gather data, analyze the structure, and report back. No engagement unless. Alarms blared suddenly across all stations. Energy spike, called out Vreelich. The central hub is activating. The view screen showed the energy beams connecting to the center of the spherical structure intensifying, creating a swirling vortex of power. Subspace rupture forming, reported Patel. Massive, unlike anything we've recorded. Evasive maneuvers, ordered Shepard instantly. All vessels, maximum distance from the structure. Prepare for. The rupture expanded suddenly, releasing a shockwave of distorted space-time that raced toward the expedition. Braced for impact, Shepard called. The Defiance raised its advanced shields, the energy barrier glowing as it prepared to absorb the incoming force. Behind them, the Alliance vessels activated their own defensive systems. The shockwave hit the Defiance first, causing the massive battleship to shudder violently despite its shields. Status indicators flashed red across multiple systems as power fluctuated. Shields holding at 60%, reported Tactical Officer Wu. Hull integrity stable. But the Alliance vessels weren't faring as well. The Stellaris managed to maintain its position, though its shields were visibly failing. The Vigilant Dawn was thrown off course, tumbling through subspace. The Quantum Seeker, with its lighter defenses, suffered the worst, multiple hull breaches visible as atmosphere vented into the void. Quantum Seeker is in distress, reported Torres. Critical systems failing. Life support compromised. Move to assist, ordered Shepard without hesitation. Prepare emergency transporters and medical teams. As the Defiance maneuvered to aid the stricken research vessel, the subspace rupture at the center of the mysterious structure continued to expand. "Captain," called Dr. Patel, her voice tight with urgency, "the rupture is stabilizing, and something's coming through." The view screen showed the swirling vortex of energy parting as a massive object emerged, a vessel of some kind, but unlike anything either humans or the Alliance had encountered. Its surface seemed to shift and flow, as though not entirely solid, with geometric patterns of light pulsing across its hull. "Dimensions?" asked Shepard. "Difficult to determine," replied Patel. "Its boundaries appear to exist partially in normal space and partially in subspace, but it's at least twice the size of the Defiance. Life signs. None that our sensors can detect, but there are energy patterns consistent with advanced AI systems, possibly a fully automated vessel." The mysterious ship hung in space, seemingly studying the expedition vessels. No weapons were visible on its fluid-like hull, but the sense of threat was palpable. "It's scanning us," reported Wu. "Multiple frequencies, including several that are penetrating our shields." Zerus stepped closer to Shepard. "Captain, if that vessel is indeed automated and has been studying both our civilizations, it may be programmed to recognize Alliance or human command protocols." Shepard nodded. "Worth trying. Open a channel." "Channel open," confirmed Torres. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Elena Shepard of the Terran Federation vessel Defiance. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. We request communication and identification." For long moments, there was no response. Then, the mysterious vessel's pulsing lights accelerated, and a beam of energy lanced out, not toward the Defiance, but toward the struggling Quantum Seeker. "Intercepting," shouted Wu as the Defiance moved with surprising agility for its size, positioning itself between the beam and the Alliance vessel. The energy struck the Defiance's shields, which flared brilliantly but held. Power fluctuations cascaded through the ship's systems, but emergency backups engaged instantly. "Analysis of the energy beam," demanded Shepard. Dr. Patel worked frantically at her console. "It's not a conventional weapon. It's a data transfer of some kind, massively compressed. The shields interpreted it as an attack and blocked it. They're trying to communicate," suggested Zerus. "Or hack our systems," countered Jackson. The mysterious vessel adjusted its position, now focusing attention solely on the Defiance. More energy patterns rippled across its surface. "It's preparing another transmission," warned Wu. Shepard made a split-second decision. "Lower shields in Section 5 Alpha only. Direct the beam to the isolated quantum computer." "Captain," protested Jackson, "if this is an intrusion attempt." "The quantum system is air-gapped from our main computers," Shepard reminded him, "and it's our best chance to decode whatever they're sending." The Defiance adjusted its shields, creating a small opening in one section. The energy beam connected instantly, flowing into the designated systems. For several tenths,